Hello, hello, hello. My name is Amara Wynn, and this is the author series Between the Margins. And the sun is hitting me right in the face right now. I apologize. This is brand new. It's been around for about a month, and I don't have very many subscribers. I think I have like 27. So I would love it if you would consider subscribing, liking, commenting, all that fun stuff, because this is a great way to learn about some really great indie authors. I sit down with indie authors. I talk to them about their books, their process, what they have coming up next, what's exciting, what's the good, the bad, the ugly. And I would love for you to experience it. In the past year or two, I've discovered that some of my favorite books have been indie authors, and you're supporting someone who is not backed by a large company or a large organization. More often than not, an indie author is they're the writer, they're the marketing team, they're the artist. They have to pay out of pocket for artists and editors. Sometimes they just edit it themselves. At the end of the day, this is a great way to be introduced to new authors. So if you're interested, please consider liking and subscribing. I hate asking because I am convinced that I'm too old for that. But like, subscribe, share, tell somebody. It makes me happy, and I don't you want to make me happy? The other thing that I hate to do besides the like, subscribe thing because I'm too old is that this right here is my book. I wrote a book called More Than I Expected about a young woman named Sydney Benton who is going through some major life changes with her best friend by her side. And she does have some comedy in that book. She's got some romance, but there's also dealing with some real life issues like past trauma and grief and anxiety, but it's all handled in a very careful way. So if you want to buy my book, you can get it on Amazon in paperback. You can get it on the Kindle Unlimited, and you can also just get it on Kindle, or you can order it through most major book outlets. Links will be down in the description below. But today I am sitting down with a very interesting man. I'm probably going to be pronouncing his name wrong, but I believe it's Russell Stowe. And yeah, he works with spaceships and stuff. I'm excited to talk to him about what he does, his job, his life, his books, and what's coming up for him. So I will quit babbling and let the future me take it away.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh shit, that scared the crap out of me.
I got me too.
Okay. Hello, my name is Amara Wynn. I am here with Russell Stowe.
Stowe.
Stowe. I see. I knew I was going to say that wrong. Russell Stowe, which makes sense because that's how it's spelled. And I'm going to read your biography because I think it's amazing. And I got it off of Amazon. So if it's wrong and it's outdated, that is not my fault. That is your fault.
That's fair.
All right. Russell Stowe is a full-time engineer with an unnamed space agency. Are you really a part-time baseball player?
Yes. Again, a little outdated, but yes, I was. That's true too.
Okay. He's often magnanimous
I got a little wordy here.
and periodically hilarious and humble. So
Oh yeah.
humble.
So,
He writes, he photographs, he travels, he conquers. What are you conquering?
just I mean, the literary world.
Oh,
Hopefully, one day.
okay. That sounds much better. He loves water chestnuts. Don't
Oh,
get that. I
oh,
can't.
they're delicious. What?
I just can't. It's a texture thing. The taste is okay.
I have to say that's probably in there because I get so many people saying the same thing. They don't like them either, so I feel the need to shout their
You've got to stand up for him.
yeah, I got to back him somehow.
Yeah, I did the clowns thing. I do get though, because he also finds clowns displeasing. And I grew up in Chicago where there was Bozo.
Oh
And
yes, the grand prize game, of course.
oh God, nobody knows the grand prize game anymore. Why do those kids just chunk it? Why do they not just like lean over?
Okay, well, just to jump in here, my brother-in-law was on the grand prize game on the Bozo Clown Show. Yeah. I
Oh,
need to find that video somewhere, but it's his it's one redeeming trait, really.
did he get to six?
I don't know how far he got.
Because
He
those
doesn't
kids are
talk about it
stupid.
much,
They
so
would just like hurl it. Just
he must not have, because he doesn't tout it as much as I would had I gotten that far. So
look, just being on it is enough for me to tout it.
I agree.
All right, let's see what else we got here. You have lots of degrees because you fancy. Electrical engineering, an MBA. Are you still working with the space industry?
Yes, I still am at NASA. Yeah.
Nah, I wasn't gonna say it because I was
I
trying to be
know, I know.
nice.
Yeah. The book is more explicit in my biography.
Having said that, it also says that you've spent 25 years working in the space industry in systems engineering, project management, and operations at the Kennedy Space Center. So I guess you kind of gave it away anyway. You go across the country, you traveled, you do all kinds of fun stuff. You've launched astronauts and satellites.
This sounds much more interesting than I feel like my life is.
It's like you're fascinating. Not only that, but you run marathons. Like, who are you?
Yeah, well,
Do you have
uh,
children?
I do have a 6-year-old. Yes, yeah. She's probably one of the reasons it took so long to get from book 2 to 3, and why I don't run
Okay.
as much anymore, and why I don't play baseball.
That makes
People
children,
do
man. They
that.
just ruin it all.
No, they do, man. They bring you down.
All right, and you've been in movies?
I have. Well, since you're about to get to it, I was in Transformers 3.
Are you really?
Yeah.
No shit.
No. Yeah, there's a scene when with the crawler going after the pad, and it's me, and you can see Tyrese and Shia LaBeouf and me, and yeah,
That's
yeah,
impressive.
pretty cool.
As a lifelong Transformer fan, who currently has a tag on the front of her car of a Decepticon, I approve. But you will never become a Transformer, it seems, despite your efforts. It hasn't happened yet, but you want it to be called the Moronicon.
I think if you get to know me, it's apt. I think it works. It works well. There was, as a fan of the old cartoon, there were some of the more obnoxious Decepticons that were just kind of high pitched and just kind of flew around and blew up. That would have been me. Or like the recent one had like a little small one that was like it was like a razor or something. He was just going crazy all the time.
That
That
would be
probably
you.
would have been me. Yeah, yeah. Something that's more annoying than useful. I think that fits right in with me.
Well, you know what? At least you know this about yourself, and that is what matters.
It's
That
true.
is knowing is half the battle. G.I.
That's okay.
Joe,
Yeah, show one. All right. We're mixing up all the 80s cartoons here. I love
the
it.
real American hero. You kind of look like a G.I. Joe.
It's the hair.
It is. It is. I'm not gonna lie. All right, tell us about your books. I've read two of your three. Give us a quick rundown before I start diving into them.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I started writing about 12, 13 years ago, and I wrote the first one and the second one pretty quick back to back. And really, it was just something for me. I just wanted to write something down because I was running at the time, and my mind wandered, and I just started building scenes together. And then I was like, I should write this down. So I put it down on paper, tied it all together, and didn't do much with it actually. I made it so that I could print out a copy for myself because I thought that'd be kind of cool, and it revolved around kind of like a simultaneous terror attack all across the country. And the one, no spoilers, but the primary main character survives, and it's him trying to. He's an engineer, but he has no training. He has no skill set for something like this, and he ends up getting way over his head as he tries to figure out what's going on, why this is happening, why they're connected, things like that. Um, and like I said, it was really just kind of for me. And I did get it to a couple people. I get it to friends that were interested because I knew I'd been writing a book, and my family. And there were some of the runners that I was with. I did some endurance events, and some of the guys were interested in it as well because it kind of
Okay,
fit
just keep
their
bragging
genre.
about how amazing you are and how
Yeah,
fit you are.
all right. But it fit their genre of books that they like. So I mean, I'll say I sold. I really just bought them myself and kind of handed them out. Probably 10 or 20, wasn't a big deal. And then the second book kind of came because the first one, the way it ended, I had already really written the first quarter of the second book in my head because there was a transition there. And then I wrote that one, and it ended on a very dramatic cliffhanger that my father was not a fan of for
Neither was
multiple reasons.
I. Neither
And that
was
was
I.
probably, that was 2014. And then last year,
Oh, see, I just read them, so at least I didn't
yeah,
have to wait that long.
yeah. The people that were around and read the first 20, 10, 15 years ago are probably, at least I
Wouldn't be
got it out
friends
before they
anymore.
started dropping.
I would
Uh,
disown you.
so I wrote that one. I had some free time. I get up way too early in the morning, and instead of doom scrolling on my phone, which I did a lot of, I said, I got to do something better with my time. So I started running in the mornings, and even that, I was like, okay, well, I've been pestered about a third book, so I started putting it together, and I had an approach to what I wanted to do with it. And this was March of last year. And I said, what, if I get this done, I can give it to my father as a Christmas present. That was kind of the goal of it.
Aw.
So I started writing it together, and I had a plan for it that completely fell apart after I, maybe 10 or 15 pages in. I had a character that I created just to kind of introduce a 10-year-old story because I figured okay, new people, this is great. They're coming right in. They can read 3 books, but anybody that had read the other 2, they were either going to have to reread those, or I was going to have to find a mechanism to remind people what happened. So I introduced a character that was, her intent was just to kind of jumpstart the story, and she'd be gone after a couple chapters. And I liked her so much that she stayed the whole time, and it completely changed the story beats and the ending and everything. So that's
Been there.
I talked to a lot of people that they have gates that they put in their book, and then they kind of like work their way from one to the other. And I do that in my head, but it quickly fell apart, which was good. I think it came out better, but that's fine.
I'm looking forward to reading it, and you actually answered a couple of my first questions. But you spent all the, which is so random. You spent 25 years working for NASA. You help like launch spaceships. You run marathons. You play. When you were sitting back at your life and you were like, "Hey, you know what my career needs? It needs spy novels." Like, how do you
Yeah,
even get there?
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I'd always been creative. I wrote short stories in when I was younger, and in high school I wrote out like comic books, and I dabbled with like sketching and things like that. So that side of my brain that's opposite the logical engineering side has not been completely dormant, but it did take a little bit extra uh, prioritization to kind of make sure that I wanted to keep that going. I've always read. I read constantly, usually in that kind of a genre, but a lot of
You strike
times
me as the guy who would read like Mac Bolan books. You know, Mac Bolan
yeah,
books.
yeah, I read those. I read a lot of historical fiction and true crime. I read a lot of like period piece kind of things. In fact, one of the things I'm toying with for my next book is like a 1970s serial killer kind of thing.
You
So it's
can't do that because I'm doing that.
oh well, okay. I don't want to know where yours is because if they overlap, this would be really weird.
It's okay. It's okay. There's no way that it's going to be. You would have to be like sitting in my brain.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. This Transformers connection is
I
already making me a little
know.
wary.
Maybe I should send you a quick message afterwards and be like, "This is what I'm thinking."
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Okay. Oof.
I'll just
Uh,
like change my direction up a little bit.
just swerve a little bit, but
Oh God.
we'll just swerve into the same lane, and it'll be a disaster,
It's all right. I'll
chaos.
just put your name on my book and give you half the money.
You can have half of the $8 I'm going to make for my book.
Right? I know we're killing it out here.
Aren't we, though? uh, but so yeah. So the genre has that the spy movies and stuff kind of geared me toward that. And the third book, it kind of wraps up the story of the Reaper list, the reason why the terrorist attack happened, but it didn't end the story as abruptly as I had planned in my head. The way the story changed. So there are some opportunities there to expound upon the universe that I might take. But I've got a couple, as you know the same thing. I'll just be working and I'll be like, that's an interesting idea. And I write down, I've got a book full of coulda, woulda books. So I don't know. I'm sure I'll get back to it in all my free time.
When you're not running marathons, playing baseball, chasing a child.
Oh, I don't have the knees for half of that anymore, including the child. And it wasn't the marathons, it wasn't the baseball, it was the
It's the
six-year-old.
child.
She's the one that destroyed my knees.
I get it. Now, I have to ask, are you Shawn Kidd?
So initially, I kind of like it was an escapist for me because obviously the personality, the sarcasm, his background, it was a lot me.
I mean,
And
it
even
kind of seems like he is you. So,
so some of the people really connected. They're like, well, I mean, obviously this it sounds like you. And like I said, it was probably escapist at the time because the reason I came up with the story itself was because I was out drinking. There's so many stories coming out this way. I was out drinking and I was looking up at some of this. It was an alley full of bars and people, and I was looking up at the ledges of the buildings, and I said, man, and this is before, sadly, this has become more commonplace than it was 15 years ago. I thought, man, somebody could do some damage up there with a gun. And then I was like, okay, well, why would you do that? And why would they specifically aim for someone's, particular? And then, so that's where the genesis of the story was. So I did kind of insert myself into it. But there's actually a character who, especially in the third book, is much more me. He's in all three books. It's the Marine lieutenant.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
He's in all three books, but his personality and his disgust with the people around him, and specifically Shawn. I was like, and even in the third book, he has. I mean, the person. As I finished the book, I'm like, man, I am totally this guy. I'm not Shawn at all. I'm more the disgruntled. Why is everything the way it is kind of person, apparently the main character that I geared for.
Yeah, I like to tell if someone ever asks me, I'm always like, yes, I'm definitely Sydney from my book, but in actuality, I'm Sloan. I'm kind of the asshole.
Sloan, as I was reading your book, I really felt like a connection, especially with Elias, because I mentioned like why do I discuss with other people? Like I can walk into a party and just be like, I'm just gonna go sit by myself in the corner. And it's not because of an anxiety thing. It's just because this is going to wear me out. Just being in
You
this
don't
room is
people.
exhausting. Yeah,
I don't either.
I think back. I was taking a leadership course 15 years ago, and people always are stunned by the fact that when I do all those Myers-Briggs tests and everything, I come out as an introvert because I'm so social. But the instructor, she really clued me in on something. It's not what you do; it's where you get your energy. So extroverts, they can be very talkative and they get excited and energized by talking with people. Or you can be social and interact, and after that, you're asleep.
I'm done.
I can promise you I've got a nap planned after this. And it's not your fault. It's just exhausting.
Okay. No, I get
Interaction
it.
is not my thing.
This is why I space mine out so much because it's exhausting. That
So,
other guy, Gabriel Garcia, like he
oh
does them
yeah,
like back to back to back, and I'm like, how
yeah.
are you not exhausted?
He is just watching him wears me out. I don't even have to participate in the conversation. He's just the way he carries on, and which is like when Sloan, he was almost like Kramer when he comes in. His character just reading him. I was like, oh man, I was getting breathless, just
Yeah.
like, man, this guy.
He wears
Oh,
me out, but
I don't know
his
what to
view,
do.
he's so pessimistic. I'm like, that's me. But the one that's staying in the apartment the entire time and never leaving, that's also me.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. You pick and choose aspects of
You got to
yourself and put
space
on
them
each
out.
character. I
Now,
agree.
your first book it's called Number 181.
Number 181, because Shawn Kidd is 181 out of 181 on the Reaper list, which is the series.
Yeah, so there's a list of children.
Yes. So I
I don't really
probably
know how
would.
much you want me to talk about because I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's fair. I probably would adjust some. And when I released the third book, I kind of went back and redid some of the approaches to the first book, softening them as much as I could without eating the story alive. But yeah, that's why I tried to focus. So the idea for
It
the
doesn't read nearly as bad as it sounds when you're
I
saying
know.
it.
So the terrorist attack, and it's kind of revealed fairly early on, but it's kind of against a group of people that are I mean, they're children, and I put it as young Americans because it's essentially a recruitment list for CIA, FBI, NSA, and it's people that are skilled with hacking, and just people that are geared toward more governmental agencies. They've either got
Like
like
tweens
a
and teenagers.
yeah, army brats. They've got parents, so they have leanings toward working for the government. And it's somebody gets the list and they see it as an opportunity to, release it to the public. Like this is what the government's doing with, their monies, and also at the same time showing that the government can't protect their own citizens. And so they kind of the terrorists, they do of the 181, only without giving too much away, not many make it. And so I tried to focus on the college age. Not that that's any better, but I tried to age up
It's really not bad.
the
It just
specifics.
sounds bad when
It
you're
does sound
saying
bad, and I realize it does, especially in this day and age.
exactly.
But
But it list
yeah,
children,
yeah, yeah.
but it reads really
Recognizing,
well.
I tried to move past that quickly, and unfortunately, that makes the effect land, I think, a little more harder, which was the point. So I mean, I understand it's not how everyone's cup of tea. So I hope that
For what
I
it's
I moved
worth,
past it quickly.
it reads so much better. I really enjoyed the concept. So you
Okay.
remember that, and maybe you don't, and maybe that movie that just came out, but it's based off of a Stephen King book where the kids are all walking and like one by one they're all dropping off. Like if they stop walking for a certain amount of time, they just like they
Oh
kill them.
yeah, yes. Mark Hamill, I think, is in that. Is he? Is it's called The Long Walk? And
The
I
Long
think
Walk.
it's
Yes,
yes,
that's it.
yes. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer. It was good.
It kind of reminded me of like I was thinking those age kids, not like little kids. I was
Yeah,
thinking those age kids.
yeah.
But it does
But
say children.
it does, and I mean the idea is it's high school and up. But I focus on anytime I bring up someone to kind of reinforce it. I try to make sure that not that it's any better, not that college is, everybody they're
It
all
is better when it's college.
any, I mean, yeah, sooner or later you're an adult. I don't know, but
I'm just old, so I'm like, whatever. They're all children to me.
that's true. Everybody's younger. Yeah, that's another thing is, when you have 10 years between book two and book three, I was like, I got to have a time jump of some sort between two and three, or it wouldn't make any sense.
That's
But
true.
10 years, I couldn't do that. That was a bit much. So I think I did 18 months. And
I'm
then,
excited about reading your third one. Okay, now Sean, now that I'm just realizing his name is Kid.
yeah,
Children, Kid. You got a theme going.
yeah. And then I have a 6-year-old and she's a terrorist. So it all ties back together.
All children are. It never, and when they get older, it doesn't stop.
Yeah. Everyone says you're like, oh, this is when they're cute. I'm like, oh God.
Someone else was just saying they have a 7-year-old and they were literally just saying that 7-year-olds were terrible. And I was like, oh gosh, see, I don't remember because my kids are older. I'm
Yeah.
old. But
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, this is the fun age," and then
I wouldn't
you're
go back
later,
and do it
"Oh, this
again.
is the fun age." I don't know. This is she's why we only have one. I can tell you that. She's great, but she is a little 6-year-old terrorist.
Oh, I love my children to death, but I'm good. And if I never have any more,
Yeah,
if I
exactly.
had known, I might have done things differently.
Yeah, so we'll leave it at that, won't we?
Now, he is not the typical like action hero. He's not a GI Joe. He
He,
is not like an assassin. He's not trained. I mean, this is like he's not special forces. Why did we decide to go with just kind of like your everyday average guy?
Um, I think, well, a couple reasons. Number one, the way the genesis of the idea was for it to be more arbitrary. Like it could have been anybody. It wasn't intended as the targets were all going into the armed forces or something like that. And I don't think I've really made any reference that any of the people on the list are going to, they're not ROTC students. They're just average people that are just really skilled at whatever they're looking at, like the IT folk or whatever they might be. So I thought the Everman might be good from that perspective. Also, I think it was more. It opened itself up to more readers. There are a lot of the genre that I started using this as was like a military thriller, but there's military thriller authors out there that are, I mean, knee deep in the weeds when it comes to the unit descriptions, equipment, and everything like that. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure that the reader, Shawn was learning everything just as the reader was. So
I
that
learned
was
a
kind of
lot.
the intent with that. Yeah, and when people, they ask, what the if everyone says, well, can you compare your book to something? And I always go back to like Lee Child wrote the Reacher series. It's what's now huge on Prime. And I always he doesn't have quite the presence as Reacher, especially with Alan Richardson, who's humongous. But it's like Reacher without the training.
Oh, that's a really
He
good way to say it. That's true.
yeah, so that's kind of what especially when I was writing the third one, how I geared the story beats, and I went out of my way, especially in the third one, to point out what his approach was to situations, um, and I think I even literally explained it with words. But the idea was that instead of being a step ahead of someone else, he's on a different staircase. Like he's not going to do the obvious thing. He's not going to do the easy thing. He's going to do something that might make it a little bit harder on him, but the other person will have no idea what's going on. He's walking chaos.
I prefer chaos at all times. It's much
So
more realistic that way. Like how often are you gonna have a GI Joe trying to save the world?
well, and I think part of that also stems from there's a lot of the other writers in the genre. I didn't want to get to the point that the episodic nature of some of the stories where like Brad Thor, some of these guys that have 20 books in a series, you can almost read them in any order,
Right.
because it's the same three or four main characters. They have craziness happen to them, and then at the end it's almost a return to the status quo, and you're just entertained, which is fine. That's what books are for. But I wanted it to be a little bit more random. There's a couple situations where I knew what the genre trope was, and I intentionally did the other thing. There's
Smart
a
thing.
scene in the second book where the FBI trader, who has supplied the list to these terrorists, Shawn captures him, and instead of doing what you would expect, he instinctively reacts and kind of like ruins any hope of using that guy in the future. But you don't see, in my eyes, I was like, well, what's the one thing that he wouldn't have done in this situation? And I just well, I'll have him do it,
Well, then he's got
because
to
I
do
didn't.
it.
Yeah, because I wanted it to be. I didn't want to fall into. There's genre tropes that I have to you kind of fall into, and you kind of have to use,
Yeah.
or you lose the reader completely. But I didn't want to be somebody that I don't want to use like M. Night Shyamalan as an example, because you're always looking for the twists in his movies. But I didn't want to be somebody where halfway through you could see where it was going.
Yeah.
You were just excited to watch the characters get there. I wanted
You
to be like, I
really
have no
do
idea
have
what's
like
going to
some
happen.
really unpredictable plot
Yeah,
twists that you don't see coming.
yeah, and I think one of them might be you mentioned at the end of the first one. You're a little annoyed with me.
Yeah.
I think there's a twist near like 80% of the way through the first book that I got shit for from everybody that
Well,
read
I'm not going to complain since I'm a new reader and I didn't read it 12 years ago.
it. Yeah.
But if I had to wait 12 years for the next book to come out, I would have given you a lot of shit.
Oh well, yeah. There's that one too. So yeah, yeah. So like I said,
Because
my
that was
goal.
that cliffhanger is rude.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah. It was rude. Yeah, especially since I didn't. Unlike the first to second book where I had momentum. The momentum died after the second book with life. And so that one. I got a lot of crap for that one.
Well, it was well deserved. Um,
But yeah, appreciate that.
now in the second book, which the Shawn takes a very different, darker. I'm trying not to give anything away.
Yeah.
Darker path than the first book. Was that always your intention, or did that
It,
kind of
it,
develop as you went?
it's the story beats followed the intention. I mean, I had always kind of expected that would, especially as I got near ending the first one, I was like, okay, well, this is where the second one's going. But as I wrote the second one, it did get darker. Makes it sound atmospheric, but I mean, Shawn kind of went darker.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and I don't. I mean, again, I tried to make an outlandish concept as grounded as I could, and assuming this outlandish thing happened to him, you had to. I mean, nobody's gonna. He's not Superman. I mean, he's not a soldier. It has to affect him somehow. So I had to write it that way, and
He got
fortunately, I
dark.
think it yeah, it I think he has people around him to help him recognize that. And there's a couple parts of there's action beats, but there's also emotional beats that I go back and look at that I was really proud of myself for having put them that way. So that's always fun when you go back and read something you're writing like, this was pretty good. I
Now,
like this
what's the
part.
third one called?
The third one is called Kid.
Okay, so I have not read that, but I have read through, like I've downloaded it, I've read through the synopsis. It kind of seems like you're taking that book into a different direction where you're really exploring more of the like the psychological
Yeah.
aspects.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier before we started that I, with the time gap between the writings of the books, I had to come up with a kind of a delay. I couldn't do 10 years, but I had to do a delay into the third one. And there are new readers because I'm actually proactively talking about my book. I'm marketing it. I'm getting out and trying to Instagram and
It
reels
sucks.
and
I
all
hate
that.
doing it.
It's horrible. It's the most painful thing. and of course you never know if you're making any progress either. So that's obviously like that's tough too. Um, but there were some people and so some of those people are reading like they're reading through 3 books right now. So it's not the time jump isn't quite as impactful to them. But there are some people that are the old readers, the 20 people, and I felt like how do I how do I bring them into it? So for the third one, I had Shawn kind of isolated and living a little hermetic life after the events of the first two, and I was like, well, I got to introduce him to society again. I got to introduce him to readers again, and so I invented a character that and a scene that was really just intended to kind of remind people of what was going on, of his capabilities, of his problems, of things like that. And I liked her so much that she was intended for 15 pages and she made it the whole way through the book.
Characters do
Uh,
that, man.
yeah. Definitely my favorite character from the book too. She's great. But because of that, the first it's not really necessarily a genre flip, but it's much more based on psychological and like instead of muscle, it's more like a memory. It's much more internal, especially the first half of the book. There's I'll call it a B story from because it's not Shawn's story that kind of winds its way through the first third of the book. And of course, I mean, you can tell that they're coming together. But the Shawn story for the first third to half of a book it's much different than the first two books, and so I think it's interesting seeing how he reacts to that, and then how he reacts to the first 2 books and the third book, his state of mind coming together.
It kind of seems like you're like there's going to be a lot of conspiracy theory in the third one.
Yeah.
Are you a conspiracy theorist, my friend?
No.
Well, damn.
I'm much too engineering logical.
Oh,
I sadly need. I mean, I'll freely accept a theory if you can prove it, but then it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. So,
true.
uh, except there is one that I don't think people are paying enough attention to. The birds aren't real. Are you aware of this one?
I have heard this.
Yes, the birds aren't real, and I don't know why people keep insisting they are. They're clearly government drones. That's my favorite one. And my favorite, and of course, it's because the people that have the website and sell merch are tongue in cheek about it. But I thought that's my favorite one.
That's that one and the flat Earth
The
thing.
flat Earth is one that I'm fascinated by. It's
I don't get how you get there, but
I can only assume that there are people that are also just trying to find someone to hang out with, and they found a group
you just
because
started a club.
yeah, I don't that one doesn't.
But I can
I,
see birds not being real. I have a
yeah,
bird that just keeps showing up into my house. It's the same bird. I leave the back door open for my dogs. It just shows up. It lands in this room and then it disappears and it just hangs out for a minute and then leaves.
that's just another pet you have. That's what that is.
That's my new bird.
Yeah, that's your bird. That's not a bird. That's your
My
bird.
bad. I forget he lives here now. So you like conspiracy theories in your books?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I think yeah, and
Like the Jaren group?
yeah. Well, fortunately, because I'm the writer, I know they're real, so it's easy for me to like get people to act like fools about a conspiracy theory of inside the novel because I know that it's real.
Yeah.
And then the third book, because of her name's Gianna, because of the way she meets Shawn and then starts learning about his past, there's a large overlap of conspiracy theories that are both true and untrue that they both have to sift through. So it's interesting you brought that up. There's references to a lot of conspiracies in at least the first half of the third book.
Yeah, and I was kind of just flipping through and I was like, oh, this is different. Not in a bad way, just this is different, which made me want to read it, but I was running out of time because I knew we were going to be talking today. But it like your plot twists are very unique. The premise is unique, and it kind of alarmed me like that could possibly happen.
Yeah, I
It made me
guess.
a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. It is a little scary.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, there's too many crazy people in the world these days.
Yeah, so we're just going to
Um,
turn to you, I guess, since you know how to get us out of that trouble.
well, I don't know. I already explained that I don't like hanging out with people. If it happens,
We're
I'm just going to find my office and bolt the doors shut.
we're all screwed.
I don't know if the lack of training probably isn't great. It's probably you probably need to get some trained people involved.
Oh Lord, we're all gonna die. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it does. I mean, it kind of reads as you're reading it. You can picture it and be like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. But it could.
Well, yeah, and what one of my because I kind of wanted to. It's again as fanciful and crazy as the
Is
notion
it
is. I
fanciful?
yeah yeah not so much. But I wanted to make sure that it was like still grounded, especially when it comes to the characters. And like my favorite book growing up was The Red Badge of Courage. So as I was writing, I, like the symbolism that comes into that, and there's a scene near the end of the first book in the forest that I think is very similar, and I didn't realize till afterwards. Sorry, Stephen Crane, but I didn't realize about the
My
symbolism.
bad.
Yeah, my bad. But there's a lot of connective tissue there too, and I think Henry Fleming from that book. I think if I was going to say Shawn is like someone, he's kind of there. There's a lot of overlap there
I can
between
see that.
not wanting to be in a place, but thinking that they can handle it, and then realizing they can't, and then deciding that they have to. There's a lot of psychological flip flop that has to go there, and I
Yeah.
think that kind of psychological flip flop. Maybe that'll be the fourth book. I'll name the fourth because that's Shawn.
10 psychological flip-flops.
Yeah. Ooh, that's an
That's a
image.
that's a mouthy title there. But you know what? I'm here for it, and I think you should make that happen. I actually kind of feel like this is, I don't know about you, but I usually write more than one thing at a time. I usually have like two or three projects going on. I mean, I am a ghostwriter, so I have to do that. But for myself, I usually have two or three projects. If I like the third one and you decide to not write anymore, I'm going to be mad
In this series or at all?
in the series.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Well,
I'll read something else, but if I get invested into this,
you'll have to let me know if you like it then.
and I'm already kind of invested at this point.
All right. Well, all right. Well,
Do you give me an ending at least?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yeah. There's
okay.
the Reaper list wraps up nicely. Um,
So you're not
and
planning on
yeah,
writing anymore.
no, I already have ideas in the universe, in the Shawn Kidd universe, because I like too many of the characters, like the Marine lieutenant who becomes a captain.
He's one of my
Um,
favorites.
yeah, he his disillusionment with the world. I feel like there's some some mine gold to mine there, especially these days, sadly. But
So true.
I think, and I mean, in the third book, I introduce a dog that I think is great. So
I
um,
love dogs.
so there's
You don't kill the dog, do
definitely.
you?
Oh no, that no, that's never going to happen.
Okay,
No,
because
I
I will
mean,
not read it.
no, that'll never happen in any
Kill as
story I
many
write, no matter
humans
what.
as you want to, but don't touch the dog.
Speaking of which, have you seen Good Boy?
No, because I was afraid they were going to hurt the dog.
So, spoiler, if everybody else mute if you don't want to hear this, because I had to look it up because I wouldn't watch it. They do not.
Okay.
Um, but
Do they
it's a great movie.
psychologically torture this dog?
No, he whines a little bit, which was a little hard,
Yeah,
but it's a really good movie, especially if you love animals.
I
So,
do. And I really want to watch it, but I was like, I didn't want to spoil it, so I didn't look it up, but I'm kind of glad that you told me. But I was like, if they do damage to this poor dog, I'm just
no, yeah, I think the worst they do is I think they grab his leg once.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I can handle that.
But yeah, there's not there's and yeah, no, that's the worst they do. And I think it's the either the stars or the director's dog that they brought in. They didn't even bring in an actor dog. He's like, I need my own dog to do this. And if you love animals, it's a horror movie. I use
I
horror in
love
a very
horror movies. They're my
but
favorite.
it's a psychological kind of horror movie, and it's I think halfway through you kind of I don't want to M Night Shyamalan it, but as a
Nope.
writer, I think you probably figure out where it's going, but you're
Okay.
okay with where it's going, even though at the end, emotionally disturbed. But I love animals, and if you love animals, it's a good emotional
I
disturbance.
do.
So
That's what, when I was younger, I remember reading that Dean Koontz book. I think it was Watchers that
yes,
had a
yeah,
dog in it. And I just read all of the chapters with the dog. And then when I got to the end of the book, I was like, what is
what
happening?
happened?
Like,
Yeah, I have no idea what the story of this is.
because the rest of it was boring. I'm like, the dog is communicating, the dog can talk. What did I miss? And I had to go back and read the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, ever since I was little, I recall the maddest my father ever got was his blind watching Old Yeller,
No,
and he watched it, and at the end he broke the TV and said, "I'm never watching one of these things again." And because he's big, I'm big yeah, animal family, and he's like, so if you bring it up to him, he'll just leave the room. He's like, I don't even want to talk about it.
yeah, Old Yeller, the Marley and Me,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was a dog movie that recently, well, I guess it's not recently now, but I can tell it's got like a race car and that
Yes, is it racing?
the
Something
pursuit
in the
of
morning.
something
Yeah, I
and
think is it Milo Ventimiglia's, I think
yeah,
is in
the
it.
dude
Yeah.
from Heroes or
Yep. That's
yeah,
good too.
I
Again, they're
refuse to
good
watch it.
movies, but they're tough.
I already know where it's going. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna watch it.
There is the website that you can go to. Like I think it's called Does the Dog Die? And you
I'm
can
gonna
put in
have to.
you put in the movies, and it'll tell you it's like spoilers, but some people will only watch a movie, and which is how I watched Good Boy. That's the only way I could watch it. So
I've never seen John Wick despite really wanting to because I hear that a dog dies in the first movie.
yeah, it's that one is it's so early, and I'm not even sure they show it, but it's the whole motivation for the entire series of
Which that would
movies.
be me. I would become
That's
John
true.
Wick.
Yeah. It's like, all
Maybe
right,
I
well,
don't need ideas.
who do I have to kill?
My 15-year-old blind dog that runs into things, I would murder for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now you have kid, you've got the poor kid.
Well, she probably would say she's a poor kid too.
Shawn Kidd, you got him. If you could dump him into any movie, like The Bourne Identity, Mission
Oh
Impossible,
wow,
which one do you think he would survive in the longest?
survival. That's a great question. Um, you know, now I'm thinking of movies that he probably would not do well in. Those are more prevalent. And now I think of like even if you put him in a superhero movie, I think of like because he's far too close in personality to Deadpool. So
Yeah, that's true.
there's no fourth wall breaking. But I think Deadpool would have enough of him, and he'd be like, you're gonna have to move along, sir.
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying. Yeah. I don't think so many of the military or the government movies, they're so process and procedure based, and he is not familiar with those processes procedures and wouldn't follow them if he was.
true.
It would have to be something that was more like an A team or a reacher, something that's a little
A
bit
reacher
more
would make sense.
off the grid
He could be
where
Mouth from
yeah,
the
yeah,
18.
yeah, exactly. I think having him show up on because
Was it
Reacher has
Face? Face. His name was Face, not Mouth. Face.
face,
Shit,
yeah.
my bad.
Um, but having him show up in something like Reacher, where he is, like I said, he's kind of Reacher without the training and without the stature. I mean, he's 6 feet tall. But, I mean, Alan Richardson's. I think he's 9 feet 5 and weighs 400 pounds. The guy's a wall. Um, but his personality is also very. He's an antithesis to Shawn. He doesn't have a sense of humor really. So seeing them together might be more entertaining. And
That would be
I think he
entertaining.
probably
I
sort of
don't see him hanging out with Ethan Hunt.
no, not so much. I don't
He's not going to
think
be
that
hanging
they
off of
would.
a cliff or a building.
No, he would drive yeah, Ethan Hunt and Tom Cruise both insane. Whether he was an actor in the series or a character in the series, they would not get along. Yeah, I don't think any of the classic spy thrillers. A James Bond type would, they leave him as quickly as he could, I think.
Yeah. They'd be like,
Um,
You're not good for us, bye."
yeah, yeah. I think his lack of an obvious direction. He has a tendency to, and he doesn't plan. Shawn doesn't plan. He's of the mindset, and I think I may have used this metaphor in one of the books. He's a guy that gets the boat moving and then steers it because he figures it's hardest to get it moving more than to point it.
It's
So
true. You
it's
did use
easier
that.
it's easier to redirect a ship than it is to get it moving in the first place. I think is a theory that I could apply to him.
He
And
needs
I
to be
don't
like
think
in one of
that.
those comedy spy movies.
Yeah, yeah, like Mr. Bean. There you go.
Oh, don't do that to poor Shawn.
No, no, no. He would lose his mind in something like that. No.
Have you cast them all in your head?
I did a long time ago, but that's been a long time. I had, 15 years ago. Even at the time, he's not old, but because he's my age. But even 15 years ago, he was probably too old for it. Jensen Ackles, I kind of had in my head as somebody that could be Shawn.
How
And
old is
and as
he?
I think he's 47 now. He looks like he's 32 because he's Jensen Ackles, but
Is he really 47?
I think he's 47. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I break an illusion? He was on Supernatural for like 20 years. So
That's true. It just makes me feel. I mean, he and I are. The, I guess he and I
you
could
look
hang out in the
disappointed.
same club.
You look disappointed. I'm sorry.
That means that he's old too. Oh, look, I'm guessing that you're in your 40s.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
47. So
yeah. So I'm
I
like,
think that's why I knew he was 47.
yeah, I'm right around your
You don't have to,
age.
share.
I'm above 45. I'm under 50. But I am like all the people that we grew up watching, I'm watching them all die off, and it's making me sad. And then when I go back and look to see how old somebody is, I literally look at my husband and go, "Do I look that bad?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's worse though because like I was actually thinking of like some of the casting for some of the characters, and I'm like, man, oh, this guy'd be good. And in my book, I mean, he's like 29, 30, 31, depending on which book you're reading. And there's not a lot of, I mean, everybody that looks like they're 30, they're 40
I
or 45.
know.
So and I mean, that's Hollywood for you. But I was thinking, it's one of those things where like, what's a 20 something actor? Like, I mean, I couldn't really come up with any.
I
Even
don't know
Tom
any.
Holland, who looks like he's 8,
Right,
is
can't use him. He's too young. Jensen Ackles. Well, see, Jensen Ackles can pass for 30.
yeah. I mean, if as long as he shave and he gets make sure he doesn't have any of the
Although
gray.
his face is starting to get a little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I don't know. When I'm thinking of it these days, it's a little hard to all these young pups. I don't know the young actors.
I don't either. I literally watch things and we were watching. I know you don't care, but we were watching something. I was like, oh, that's Haley Mills. Haley Mills is the one who's narrating that. Don't know why I know that, but I do. Meanwhile, the next thing we turn on, I'm like, I don't know who any of those people are. I've never heard of any of them. And it's because they're all under the age of like 28.
Yeah,
Don't know who they
yeah,
are.
and part of it also is the things that I find that's good now. It's older actors to begin with. And it's nothing against the younger actors, but when I think of Only Murders in the Building is hilarious. I love that show.
I do too.
Landman, I really enjoy, but it's all actors that are in their 50s and 60s for the most part.
Yeah, we watched the
So
Thursday Murder Club on Netflix, and I was like, the reason why I love this is because they're all actors that I've known my entire life.
and yeah, so then I'm like, well, maybe I'm missing out by not watching, and maybe it's because these younger actors, it takes a little bit longer for them to get into the roles that kind of they identify with. But it's also different because I mean, there's so much stuff to watch now. 20 years ago there was maybe even back then 7 different networks.
Yeah, that was it.
And the CW, that was always the one where you had like
Oh,
the
I
younger
love the
actors.
CW.
Yeah, like I think of things that if I gotta find something that I could put Tom Welling in. I don't know why, but I gotta get Clark Kent in something because and because he's having a resurgence these days too.
Yeah, it's
Um,
funny because I think whenever I'm writing, I always picture people, and then I realize now that you're saying that they're all no longer age appropriate,
yeah,
but they're how I remember them when they were younger. I just now
yeah.
realized that. See, now you've ruined that for me too.
I'm sorry. I'm poking around
Russell,
holes. I am so sorry. I
you're
apologize for.
Because
ruining
here
your
I was
Sunday.
thinking this would be a great person. That person's probably 60 now.
Yeah. But the problem is, and well, for better or good, they can make themselves look younger. So maybe that's okay if you want to slot them into whatever role you may have. I don't know.
Yeah, but they're if for some random reason in some fictional world, someone were like, "I'm gonna make a movie of your book," they wouldn't pick the people that I would want because they're not going
That's
to
really
give
true.
me access. They're gonna pick the 12-year-old as opposed
Yeah.
to the 60-year-old who could pass for 40. It's fine.
Well,
You know what?
you know, I was you say that because you know, even some of the other characters when I was writing, like Garrick, who's one of the bad guys, shows up in the first couple books, and I had Henry this was 15 years ago. I had Henry Cavill in mind because of the size, but maybe Alan Richardson, I
Mm,
can get him in. He's young enough that he could probably fit in there. He's not British, but maybe he can do a British accent.
yeah, just throw on a British accent. Who cares?
I need to. It's bad. Like I'd have to like Google, you know, top actors and actresses in their 20s to be able to
It
staff my movie.
sucks. I don't know who any of them are.
Well, you know, if Netflix comes to me with a bucket of money and says we're going to make an eight episode, you know, series
Give me a limited series.
I will find some actors. On the off chance that happens, I will find some actors.
And I
I'll do
will
that
watch it
research.
because if there's a limited series, you best believe my weekend is being taken up by watching that limited. I don't want to watch a movie. I want to watch a limited series. And it's only going
Yeah,
to be one season. I can't do more than one season.
yeah. I mean, these days I can't remember the last time I've watched a movie. It's all been like some series.
I've watched more
Uh,
Harlan Coben's limited series
yeah,
on Netflix. I need to.
yeah. Like I've been watching like the Night Agent
Oh, we
on
just
that.
started that again. I didn't know
That's
season
yep.
three
Oh,
was
the new
back.
season. Yep, yep. That's excellent. And you talk about a guy who I think that's kind of he's a little bit Shawn
You know
Kiddish.
what? He could do it. I think he could
Yeah,
do it. I forgot
yeah.
all about him.
He also. I mean, he's very gifted in the role that he's in, the actor and the character himself. But the character is always finding himself, even though he's you know at the top of the spy ladder, he is always finding himself in stuff he can't get out
I
of.
know. He's like a dope. Like he's just
So aren't you supposed to be the best in your job? What's going on here?
apparently he falls over his own feet. I don't,
You know, constantly. I'm
but
like,
I
what are you
love
doing, man?
him.
Yeah, yeah.
And now
It's a
we're going
good
to have to
show.
watch that again tonight because we started it the other night and then got sidetracked watching something else because I'm terrible. I have ADD apparently.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
there's just too many things to do and too many things to watch.
there
There's just
and we don't have time to do a lot of watching in the first
yeah.
place, so we take what
I
little
have a
time we
list of
can.
recommendations from people for what to watch, and it just keeps. I don't know if it has ever been gotten shorter. Like I may watch something and at the same time add three things. It's you know
Yeah, I've got the friends who will go, you know what you should watch so we can talk about it. And then
yeah.
I'm like, I will get to that in 3 years.
It goes to the bottom of the list, and yeah, we'll talk about
We'll put
that.
it down at the bottom because inevitably I'm going to go look for it, find something else, and it's going to have David Tennant in it. And I'm going to watch the 6 episodes of him doing something crazy in some small town as he's a police officer and some kid's gotten killed. And I'm going
Yeah.
to have to watch it from beginning to end. And I will totally forget about the thing that I was supposed to watch so that we could discuss.
And the problems is they describe them to me, the actors, the premise, and I'm like, this sounds amazing, and I still will not be able to get to it. And then they get upset because I'm like, I told you about that a year ago. I'm like, I'm sorry, I
I've
apologize.
slept since then. That's
Yeah,
always my
yeah,
answer. I've slept
yeah, yeah.
since then.
That was 10 other recommendations ago that I also still have not gotten to. So I
Probably
apologize.
from the same person.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, which you know, sooner or later you'd think they'd stop recommending things,
After like
but
the
you never
fifth
watch
time of
them all.
recommending it, just be like, don't even talk to him about it. We know he's not going to do it. Uh,
Or just read the Wikipedia, and that way I can like the Cliff's notes, and that way I can fake my way through a conversation about it.
that's what I'm going to start doing from people who are like, did you watch that show? Yes, I'm going to read the whole
Yeah,
section on Wikipedia that says plot, and I'm going to read it and be like, yep, saw it. It was great.
yeah.
Now, you got anything exciting coming up? Anything new?
You know, I mentioned that I hadn't done much marketing for the first two at all. So now most of my time is spent learning how to do what you and other authors have been doing is, you know, how do you get reviews? How do
You
you get your
don't.
name out there? How do you get people to pay attention to you?
You
And
don't.
what's one of the most frustrating things is people read books and then don't review them. Like in my defense, I rarely did that, but these were for books that were, you know, these were you know bestsellers. So if you go look on Amazon, they have
They already have 8,000 reviews.
yeah 10,000 reviews, and I'm like, please, anybody that reads my book, I don't care if it's just 2 words, put something in there because it looks so sad when it says 11 next to
I
it.
think mine has 10. And I was like, I know more than 10 people have read this book.
Exactly.
My
Yeah.
own friends won't even leave a review. And
I
I
know.
know that they like it.
I know. And then we've had conversations about it, and they're like, I don't like this, I like this, and we're going through it all. I'm like, why don't you write a review? I'm like, no. I'm like, ah.
You know what? They're the same people that we won't watch their shows.
That's true. Maybe that's a good point. I need to wiki read the reviews, and that way I'm like, look, this is what we're going to talk about for 10 minutes,
I
but you have to
watched
write a
that
review of
show.
the
It
book.
was so good.
Yeah. So that's what these days it's a lot of that. It's learning Instagram, which I was never really big on before, other than doom scrolling. Like I never was active necessarily. So it's learning the ins and outs of that, reels, stories, how best to get the word out and connect with other authors.
Oh,
But
wow.
that being said, I have a little notebook with ideas for books that I've kind of put on the back burner that I may pull out, and it's interesting because there's genres all over the place. I mentioned, like the historical fiction. There's like
We
some
calling the
satire.
70s historical.
I'm old enough. It's when I was doing
We
something.
were
I've been
born in
doing
the
research.
70s, were we not?
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh no, you froze. Oh, there
I
you go. There you are.
okay. Was I doing something fun? My daughter loves fun pauses. So if you were pausing something, it has to be something good, or we'll just keep on pausing it until we get something good. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I'm like satires, parodies. It's all over the place. And if you've read the books, and Shawn Kidd is kind of a parody of himself, anyways.
Yeah, he
He's
really
very
is.
sarcastic. So but I don't know. It's with so many things going on in life. It's hard to find time, really.
I can't imagine between running marathons, playing baseball, raising a 6-year-old, having a wife, 25 years at NASA. I can't even imagine.
I need to get have surgery on one of my knees, and then I'll be laid
Yeah.
up and I can
When would you
write.
have time? I
Maybe
You
that'd be
work
a good
at
excuse.
NASA. Like who
A good
has time to
excuse.
do anything outside of NASA?
That's true. Hopefully, though, maybe I can retire from there soon and be done with that. I don't
I
know.
mean, you're getting up there in age, so
I am, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling every bit of it. I'm feeling every bit of it.
yeah, my knees have been shot for years. I was like, oh, all those years of track did nothing but ruin me.
Oh man.
That's what when you have like, what is your advice for other people? It should be protect your knees.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
What's the
Yeah.
hardest part? Is it the marketing?
Um, it is mostly for a lot of different reasons. Number one, I mentioned the introversion extrovert thing. It's exhausting. Just talk. I don't like talking about myself either.
Okay.
So that's I if someone wants to learn more about the book, I'm like, here's the book. I mean, I understand it takes time out of your schedule to read it, but at the same time, anything I say would be, even if it's accurate, it's going to be a glowing, like it's going to be this is great. This is why you should read this. And then they read it and then they say, oh yeah, you're right. It was great. Or like, man, you really talked this up and I didn't do anything for me or whatever. But I'm
That
one
would
of
be
those
my
people.
luck.
It's one of those people that I think like the product should speak for itself, which is very difficult in books,
If they don't know
especially.
that it's there in the first place.
They don't know it's there, and there's the marketplace is flush with, especially with it's hard enough to get into like a bookstore, or get an agent in and get into traditional. But there's a lot of indie authors out there that are very, very good, they're in the industry. There's some out there that are using AI a little bit too much, and they're flooding and diluting the industry. So it's kind of hard to stand apart. So talking about yourself, talking about myself, talking myself up. It's not something that is easy for me to do. So that I think
But
is
you're
probably the
lovely
hardest
and
part.
you're entertaining and you're funny. This should be
You
easy
see,
for you.
I appreciate that, but I wasn't kidding. I'm going to nap here in about half an hour because it's not something that comes easy to me. And those people that they go to like festivals or fairs and they stand in front of their booth for 8 hours talking about themselves and their books. I mean, it's certainly beneficial, but that makes me nauseous just trying to think about that. That's
I
that's a
agree.
lot. But I mean, it's what gets the word out. because I don't, it's that's your street team, and right now my street team is a 6-year old that can't read my books anyways, not because of her inability to read, but because she should
They're
not
not
be reading.
appropriate. Yeah. Not appropriate. Yeah, I am my street team. So that's enough.
Yeah, and again, the first couple books, and even the third one I wrote probably for the 20 readers from the first couple books. But I write them because I have ideas and I want to get them down, and it's just really cool to like have a book, like have something physical, and that's why I read ebooks just like everybody else does, but having like something that I can like hold that for hundreds of years people have been writing things on paper and they've stood the test of time because they're in a book. That's kind of cool. So
It
I
is
did
cool.
that for me, and it's nice to have others read it and comment on it for good or bad. But to do that, you have to do this marketing thing, which I'm not good at. But I appreciate the level of effort that everybody like us has been trying to do, and the time and the energy and the emotion that it takes out of you. It's tough. I mean, it's hard.
It
It's
is
tough.
exhausting. My husband is very much like you. Like he's not like you at all. He's not social at all. Like he'll want a nap after he goes to work because he's just not good around people in general.
Yeah.
The man started an Instagram page of him playing the guitar, and in like overnight got like 600 people following him just by his hands playing a guitar. And I was like, you know what? You can suck it. You know how hard I've had to work?
Frustrating.
Like you
Yeah.
literally played for like 30 seconds. Meanwhile, I was out here busting. I finally just kind of gave up. I just, if you read it, great. I want you to. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I have more fun doing this
Yeah.
than I do
I can see
promoting
that
my own.
absolutely. Yeah. Especially like I said, I mean, it's exhausting to kind of like promote yourself, but it's so beneficial to hear other people that are doing the same things as you are. Because I through my day job, and I don't know many other people writing. I don't know a lot of people that are reading, to be honest, and that's not
Same.
good. But so just interacting with other people that are kind of going through the same things that you are, and
It's
are
nice.
they're a resource because you can ask them questions, but you can also expand upon like your reading, because like the group, that Indies Authors United group, um, those are most of the writers, and they're writing genres that I would not pick up as I'm walking down the bookstore shelves.
Same.
And it's too bad too because they're really good. And so they've actually had kind of had me diving into things that I wouldn't normally read. Um, and since I've kind of gotten frustrated with my typical genre because of the episodic nature of some of the books and the fact that they kind of cut and paste, cookie cutter, and things like that, it's nice to
Welcome
have.
to romance, Russell.
Well, it's not too much of a leap because I love Hallmark movies.
Then why
So
are you not writing them? You know how nice
I
it would be for a man to write the Hallmark. I love the cozy, and that is I don't like to admit that, by the way. I am tough. I am rough and tough. Her. But I think I watch every Christmas movie on Netflix starting like November 1st.
yeah,
And the cornier the better. And if
yeah.
a
I mean,
man wrote that,
I some of the scribblings on my notebook are kind of like that. And I'll be honest, like the first third to half of my third book, it's kind of Hallmarky. I realized that as I was writing it. So
don't tell anybody I enjoy that.
yeah, yeah. So there is a bit of a tonal shift halfway through, but in fact, like you asked about like who you see casting these characters, a lot of the times it ends up being Hallmark actors and actresses in my head. So
And they're all terrible, but you know their faces.
yeah, and they all and they they're all the same character for essentially in
They
every
are.
book or in every movie. So, which I mean, it's fine. I love them. I got sucked into the Christmas, movies, and then they have Christmas in July, and then I was like, well, they do this all year, so I'm watching all the Valentine's movies, St. Patrick's movies, and so yeah,
Yeah, I
my
got stuck watching the one with Brooke Shields and Carrie Elwes, this where they were in Scotland and she was trying to buy his castle. And I think I watched it like 12 times last year because it's just relaxing.
yeah, I just
It's
actually there's
terrible.
we could man, this could go on for another hour. I just watched a Netflix. because I'm sorry, I apologize before I do this, but Lindsay Lohan had a 3 picture deal with Netflix, and she did a
Yes.
Christmas movie, which was really good. And then I just watched Irish Wish. Um, man, we are off the rails here. And the male lead in that would be great for Captain Sebastian. So I'm just saying.
Oh, you, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So for
didn't think the
casting,
Christmas one was bad. I mean, it was. It was terrible, but I still
it
enjoyed
was,
it.
it was. I mean, they're all cheesy.
Oh, so
And
terrible.
yeah, I mean,
Look, life is rough. Sometimes we gotta have some cheesiness in our life.
at least the Netflix ones tend to be a little bit more uh, experimental with their plot lines. The Hallmark ones are, I mean, it's the same 2 people, and they're either at they're running a bakery, or the bookstore is going under, or
She was in
something
a
like
big
that.
town, came back to the small
Yeah,
town, met the
yeah.
guy who runs the local inn or something.
It is tough. It is tough. Never let your significant other go back to their hometown for a holiday by yourself or
So
himself.
I'm
Bad
coming with
idea.
you.
Just like, or you can just come whenever. I'm like, no, we're riding in the same plane. You're not accidentally getting in a cab with somebody that you meet from high school. It's not happening.
We really could go off on another tangent for another hour. I will not do that to you, however. I will put up all of your social medias and the book descriptions and how to find them. How can we find you?
I'm at you can just Russell Stowe author on Facebook or on Instagram, and yeah,
You got a website.
and russellstowe.com, Stoewe.
I'll put it right there. Right there. Um, Russell, it's been great talking to you. You are great. You should not take a nap. You should go for a run.
I did that this morning
Oh.
because I knew I was going to end up napping.
Oh.
I've worn myself out physically and emotionally and psychologically now. So
I'm so glad that I got to participate in your wear out process.
I mean it in the nicest way possible.
I
You're
take
a
it in the
delight.
nicest way possible. I'm not offended at all. Because I promise you, the minute I log off and this decides to convert, I'm going to go straight into the other room and lay down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how people do this regularly. I don't know how people are on TV for a long time. The extrovert. Talk about somebody that I don't understand. An extrovert. Oof, that's a whole nother character.
Yep,
That I could. That
I
would be
can
the most.
fake it though. I can fake it.
Writing an extroverted character would be the most difficult thing that I to do. I'd have to interview others to ask
I
for it.
don't know if I could, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, maybe I could.
Sloane's pretty extroverted.
He
That's a lot
is.
of energy. He's a ball of energy.
He is. He's a lot. He's also everyone's favorite, and I didn't think he was going to make it.
Oh, really? Wow.
I was like, what? But he ended up being so likable. But I don't know if I could. Though I'm terrible. The way that I write is how I talk. So like their dialogue is my
Mhm.
dialogue. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could make it sound believable that I was excited about being in front of people. It wouldn't be believable.
Yeah. That would be a challenge for me too.
Well, like, see, we're the same person.
Yeah, that's frightening. I'm
Same,
so
close to the
sorry.
same age, same person, same story. I'll send you the
My,
little blurb about what I'm thinking for the 70s, now
yes, just to be
historical.
safe. Just to be safe. Oof.
Cannot believe you call the 70s historical. My
Well,
54-year-old husband would beat your ass for that.
recent historical fiction. I don't. Is that a thing? I don't know.
When you realize that, like high school, I'm guessing you graduated, what, 96?
Yeah, 96.
So that's what, 30?
Yeah,
Doesn't that hurt?
that's old. I'm old.
Doesn't
Well,
that
you can just
hurt?
go back. All I have to do is go back and look at a show that was aired in like 2000 and see how grainy it is. That hasn't been up-res. It's all the ratio's all out of whack, and it looks like it was made on a tripod. That's yeah,
It
mold.
hurts.
Mm-mm.
I'm a big Scream fan, and it came out in 96. I was in college that year. I just started college that year, and I went to go see it. And then I'm watching all these young people who love it so much, and I'm like, shut up, you don't know.
Yeah,
You weren't
yeah.
there.
You weren't there. You don't know.
You don't
Get away from
know,
me
man.
with your get away from me with your 20 somethingness.
I need to start being more loving and welcoming to the younger generation, I suppose, but it's just hard.
It is. It is
We're
difficult.
so different.
And they have a lot of energy. I don't know where they get that
They're
from either.
brutal.
Oh my gosh.
They're brutal and they're hyper, and I'm old and tired. I need to nap. That means we should go nap now, right?
You're my spirit animal. Yes, napping. That's next
Okay,
on the
it's nap
to-do list.
time. I'm going to put all your information on here
Perfect.
and make sure everybody goes and finds your book. You were great, Russell. If you ever want to
Thank
do
you.
it
You
again,
were
let me
too.
know.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.